God says, I am guiding you even now, even when the path doesn't feel clear, even when you're unsure about your next step, even when everything feels uncertain. God says you are not lost. You are not without direction. You are not walking alone. God says, I am leading you in ways you don't always notice. God says guidance is not always loud. It is not always obvious. Sometimes it is quiet, subtle, a feeling, a thought, a shift inside you. God says pay attention to that, because that is how I guide you. God says you may feel pulled in a certain direction, a sense that something is right or not right. God says that feeling is not random. That is guidance. God says you may not always understand it immediately, but you feel it. God says trust that. God says I guide you through your awareness, through your instincts, through the clarity you begin to notice. God says there are moments you avoided something without fully knowing why. Moments you chose differently, even when it didn't make sense. God says that was guidance. God says I was leading you away from what was not right and toward what is. God says you don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to see the full path. God says you only need to take the next step, and then the next. God says I will guide you one step at a time. God says sometimes the path feels slow, unclear, uncertain. God says, but that does not mean there is no direction. It means you are being guided in a way that builds trust. God says trust is built when you move forward, even without full clarity. God says you have been guided more times than you realize, more than you notice. God says look back at the decisions you made, the paths you took, the things you avoided. God says you were not alone in those moments. God says I was guiding you. God says even now, I am guiding you in your thoughts, in your awareness, and the way you see things. God says you are becoming more aligned, more aware, more connected. God says that is part of the guidance. God says do not ignore what you feel. Do not doubt your awareness. God says trust it, because it is leading you. God says you are not moving randomly. You are moving with direction, even if you don't see it fully yet. God says stay calm, stay focused, stay open. God says listen, not just to what is loud, but to what is quiet, because that is where guidance lives. God says I am guiding you even now. Type Amen if you trust the direction.